Halo guys, balik lagi di channel BadRush. Jadi hari ini mari kita lanjutkan kembali ya cerita kita di Genshin Impact ya. Jadi hari ini sudah terbuka lagi untuk pembangunan jet chamber karena kemarin kita itu ini ya story questnya Ganju ya emang belum berakhir karena kita harus melanjutin dulu ke quest Archon quest yang ini. Oke, tuh masih ditutup ya. Jadi kemarin ini baru setengah jalan mungkin, terus ganti quest lagi. Oke, jadi yuk langsung aja kita lanjutin, kita selesaikan biar kita segera ikut event terbarunya dari Genshin Impact. Oke, yuk let's go. Kita ke tempat pembangunan lagi, jadi kemungkinan ini nanti Shenhe sama si Ganju bakal ketemu ini nanti. Ya, jadi bolak-balik gini ya. But it's fine. Yuk langsung. Ketemu sama si Shenhe lagi kayaknya. Masih mau bantuin kita kan harusnya, nggak tahu sih. Atau sekarang yang bantuin Ganju, maybe. Kita akan lihat hasilnya. Oh, udah. Oh, sama Shenhe. Udah jadi nih, apa belum? Oh, udah. Jadi bawahnya ya.
That's because it's not finished.
Belum beres, Bayuan. Oh, ada Beidou.
And hey,
Yunjin.
Given the enormous scale of the Jade Chamber, we split the construction work into 2 phases to make sure the structure remains balanced. Before we find some suitable plastrite, we build the Jade Chamber's keel at ground level. Once the plastrite is ready, we place it into the keel and let the partially constructed Jade Chamber rise up to the height of the surrounding mountain peaks. The remainder of the construction work is then carried out at that altitude. Once everything is ready, we release the iron tethers and allow the Jade Chamber to rise to its target altitude.
Miss Bywin, we've brought some new materials to submit.
One moment, I'll be right there. The construction work has only been able to progress this rapidly thanks to the plastrite provided by you. Lady Ningguang is most grateful and looks forward to seeing more of your work.
Wow, can't believe you sourced the plastrite so quickly. It's the key piece of the puzzle. Looks like you beat us to the punch.
Beidou, you're joining the Jade Chamber contest too?
Ikut juga.
Sure am. I happened to get my hands on a chunk of sunset vermilionite on a voyage a while back, so I figured I'd bring it over.
Huh. So even though it's rare, we're not the only ones who
Ada
managed to get a
saingan
hold
nih.
of it.
Ada si hot mama.
Oh, I've got some introductions to do. This is the renowned Miss Yun, or Yunjin, probably the most famous figure in the Liyue opera scene.
Greetings.
These two are Paimon and the Traveler, both good buddies of mine. And this is... sorry, not sure we've met.
Shenhe. I am their... friend.
Good to meet you. A friend of a friend is my friend too. Or, as I like to say, a mate of a crewmate is part of the crew. Miss Yun is also here for the contest. Turns out she needed to borrow a boat, so we came together.
It's an honor to finally meet you both. I've heard much about you. Miss Shenhe, though we are only meeting for the first time, I have a feeling that we will get along very well indeed. To be honest with you all, I am in great need of this opportunity to ask Lady Ningguang a question. That's why I joined the contest. Thanks to my father's connections, I was able to acquire a specimen of the plastrite required. Fortunately, it was approved for submission, despite being a little on the diminutive side. Wow! So it looks like the 3 of us are competitors now! Excuse me for prying, Miss Shenhe, but are you competing as well?
No, I don't have any questions for Ningguang. I just wanted to help her win.
In that case, I have a proposal to make. Lady Ningguang said that the first 3 contestants to procure all 3 materials will be awarded the chance to ask a question. Well, there are 3 teams here. We can split the prize between us. Instead of competing against each other, we could work together to secure the top 3 places between us. What do you think? Sounds
Boleh
great,
sih.
but how does that change things exactly?
I think I see where you're going with this, Miss Yun. The plastrite was the most difficult item to source by a long shot. Luckily, all three of us managed to get our hands on it. The two remaining items aren't quite so rare, so as long as one of us finds a way to source it, the other two can hop on the bandwagon. How'd I do? Is that what you had in mind?
Precisely.
Oke, biar lebih cepat ya.
Interesting approach.
Okay then. Alright, I'll go first. I have some leads on these wonder cores. From what I've heard, the core itself is really not that difficult to make. The hard part is getting hold of the ore used as raw materials. I'm gonna head back to the ship and ask Suling if he's heard of them. You guys...
We will head into town and seek advice from Master Zhang of Hanfeng's Ironmongers. Thoughts?
Sounds good. Let's go. Sounds good.
Wonderful. We'll split into teams then, and whoever makes progress first brings all of us a step closer to victory. I'm gonna take off. See you later.
See you later, hot mama.
Okay, let's go! By the way, what question are you gonna ask Ningguang Yunjin?
I'm looking for a venue to host the performance of our new opera. Lady Ningguang has excellent judgment, so I would like to hear her opinion.
Ooh, what's the opera called? Paimon wants to go see it.
The opera is a labor of love by my father. He wrote it based on a popular urban legend about an evil spirit and an adeptus. It's called The Divine Damsel of Devastation.
Oke. Sekarang kita tanya ke Master Sang. Oke, ke situ ya. Oh, ini ya, yang punya blacksmith ya. Ya, nggak mukul-mukul sekarang. Biasanya mukul terus.
Ah, hello. Are you here for something off the shelf, or do you need something forged?
Excuse me, Master Zhang. We were wondering if you'd heard of something called a Wonder Core.
Of course I have. Sorry, who's asking?
My name is Yunjin. Perhaps you don't know me, but I believe that you forged some weaponry for my father in the past, for stage use.
Yunjin? Stage use? Oh, so you must be Miss Yoon. Sorry, my brain's finally caught up. It's not used to doing much beyond bashing a hammer all day. Everyone's heard of you, Miss Yoon, even folks who don't make it to the opera all that often. Like myself. So, you're here to ask about wonder cores, huh? As it happens, I do know how to make them. Matter of fact, I made some for Lady Ningguang back when she was building the original Jade Chamber. The types of ore needed to make wonder cores are a little hard to come
Wah,
by.
disuruh nyari
Lady
bahannya ini
Ningguang
pasti.
supplied them herself last time. I don't suppose
Ya
you've
kan?
brought any yourselves?
No, we were gonna ask you what kinds of ore we need.
Sure. Well, you'll need two kinds. Star Splinter Iron and Subrosium.
Apa itu?
If I remember correctly, Lady
Oh,
Ningguang
Mount Tianheng.
sourced her Star Splinter Iron from the Mount Tianheng area. They say it resonates with visions. It could take some work, but if you stick with it, you'll find some eventually. As for the Subrosium, though, that's trickier. It's all but unheard of on the market. I'm really not sure. Sorry. What I've heard is that the people around Mount Tianheng have some sort of magic trick that can pinpoint the location of the stuff. Of course, it's probably just hearsay. If you want my advice, start by looking for Star Splinter Iron around Mount Tianheng. And if you run into any locals, ask them a few questions about Subrosium.
Mount Tianheng.
Interestingly enough, the story of the Divine Damsel of Devastation also takes place on that mountain. I hear the view there is quite spectacular. A favorite destination of the Adepti, in fact. Perhaps it can give me some inspiration. Let's not delay. We should head straight there.
Let's go, cus ke Mount Tianheng. Duh, deket. Tapi ada ini guys, gua ambil ini ya, expedition dulu ya.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. Welcome to the Adventurers Guild.
Oke, kita dispatch dulu. Si Mama Liyue. Nazuma belum beres. Oke. Mungkin bisa lah. Oke, berarti ini satu lagi aja. Fallen karakter loh. Sukres meninggal, ya ampun. Belum gue hidupin. Oke, just langsung. Kita ke dekat ternyata. Mount Tianhong.
I came to Mount Tianhong once with my father as a child. I remember it being such a long climb that I could barely feel my legs by the time we reached the top. This is quite a trip down memory lane for me. Look at these majestic towering peaks and the gently flowing streams. It's like setting foot in paradise. No wonder the legend of the divine damsel of devastation is said to have taken place here. Adepti wander oft where mortals seldom stride. Indeed, this looks like a place that one might expect to be frequented by adepti.
The Divine Damsel of Devastation is your upcoming opera, right? And the story takes place in Mount Tianhong. Huh. Seems like you have a real connection with this place. What's the story about, though?
It's the story of a girl becoming a hero.
Cool. A hero story? They're Paimon's favorite.
The legend first arose in this area. It is said that there used to be a prosperous village on the mountain. In that village, there was a loving couple who were completely devoted to one another. One day, a terrifying monster appeared. The wife was out collecting herbs and was captured by the monster. Her husband was so distraught at the news that it broke his spirit and drove him to madness. The vile and vicious monster told the villagers, "If you want to live, you must sacrifice a child to me."
What a nasty piece of work! Ugh. Paimon sure hopes this monster gets put in its place!
But the monster was so terrible and so strong that all within the village were terrified of it. They had no choice but to give in to the monster's demand. Just while they were discussing whose child would be given over to the monster, a little girl suddenly stood up and came forward.
Jangan-jangan itu Senhe
Don't do it, little
yang
girl!
diceritain Yunjin.
Unbeknownst to anybody else, she was concealing an exorcist's blade. She approached the monster's lair, feigning fear and trepidation. When she finally arrived, she courageously drew her sword and entered into a fierce struggle with the monster, from which she eventually emerged as the victor. Her extraordinary abilities drew the attention of the adepti,
Ya
and
kan?
they took her as one of their own.
Iya, ini
Her
ceritanya ini
story
pasti.
became the stuff of legends. But alas, the paths of mortals and adepti seldom cross, and she would never again re-enter the mortal world. And so, destined to grace the mortal realm for but a brief moment, she vanished like a wisp of smoke into thin air. That's how the opera ends.
I really like this story, but I personally think that perhaps the little girl was not as brave as the opera makes her out to be.
Iya, tapi ada yang
I'm
beda.
not sure she deserves all the praise she is given.
I've never considered that before. Opera is always an interpretation of the events it purports to portray. A certain degree of deviation from the truth is always inevitable. When my father wrote the script for this play, I suppose his intention was to inspire his audience with the character of the divine damsel.
I think it's a great story. The ideal story.
Well, it sure inspired Paimon! Let's go get ourselves some Star Splinter Iron! Yeah!
Oke. Sudah cukup ceritanya, kita cari ironnya tuh kayak apa. Suruh nyari di sekitar sini, cenah. Kita mah ngambilin ini dulu, guys. Bisa kita cek nggak? Kayaknya di atas gunung deh. Di atas kali ya. Coba kita ke atas dulu deh guys. Dari atas bisa kelihatan apa aja ntar. Use vision emang. Oh ini dia, ini kan. Hahaha. Mana lagi? Itu kali ya. Oh iya itu. Oke, kita tanya orang lokal di sini ya.
I saw a village on our way here. Master Zhang said we should ask the locals for help. Why don't we try there?
Hey, there really is someone here. Yunjin, looks like you were right. Excuse us, sir. Can we ask you something? Huh. He didn't seem to catch that.
Hello, sir. We were just passing by and wanted to ask if you happen to know anything about Subrosium.
Gak bisa ngomong kayaknya.
Is he trying to tell us to look for clues in the village? Well, whatever. Guess we're on our own here. Shenhua, Yunjin, let's have a look around.
Sorry, you can go ahead without me. I'd like to have a word with this gentleman. If that's okay with you, Uncle Mingjin.
Oh, bisa ngomong.
It's
Shenhe.
Shenhe.
Ya, dia manusia sih sebenarnya emang.
The rumors were true. So, all these years? I'm sorry, I don't know how to find Subrosium. But I think you can find some information in the village. And this place is deserted now.
Ya kan desa ini katanya yang diserang monster itu tadi. Yang ceritanya si Yunjin.
You know this guy, Shenhua?
Thank you, kind sir. We'll go and take a look around. Don't worry. Mingjin has no ill intention towards Miss Shenhe. She'll be quite safe.
Okay. Then let's see what we can find in this village.
Biarin mereka ngobrol lah. The doctor said you were gravely ill. Don't worry, I will give everything I have to save you. Okay, my heart bleeds whenever I see you getting wearier. Your illness beyond treatment, how I wish I could suffer the pain for you. You said you had no regret in this life and that you only wish for me to take good care of Shenhe. But you regret nothing. Why the tears? I don't know what I've been doing lately. Though I still breathe, I feel like an empty shell. I have read all the ancient texts I could get my hands on, looking for ways to save you, but it is utterly futile. I finally found it. It was Mingjun. He had kept the book that called Save You hidden. I took it and followed its instruction to summon a god and offer a sacrifice. The god appeared. I told him that I was willing to exchange my life for yours. He kept silent and only pointed at our doctor Shenhe. The god said her fate was to bear the curse of calamity and that she was prone to bring harm to those close to her. The god also said that she might even have been the cause of your death. In that case, I thought I left her in the cave that the god mentioned, and 3 days have passed. Oh, ini ceritanya. I grow restless from waiting. I'm sorry, my love, forgive me. You too, Shenhe. Please forgive me. How was both of you in person? Oh.
So.
Iya kan?
Shenhe is the divine damsel.
Ternyata.
Now that I think about it, she does behave rather like an adeptus,
sama orang-orang desa,
and she is about the right age.
Orang-orang yang di dekat Shenhe bakal mati atau bakal mengalami kehancuran, kesialan lah. Itulah makanya suruh dikasih ke para adeptus biar disuruh diasuh sama para adeptus. Diasuh sama Cult Retainer kan habis itu. Kan emang aslinya Shenhe itu manusia guys. Beda sama kayak Ganyu. Ganyu kan emang dia setengah adeptus setengah manusia kan. Kalau dia itu literally benar-benar manusia gitu.
Now I understand why Shenhe said the girl was not as brave as people think.
Iya, itu bukan pilihan dia untuk melawan monster.
To enter that ghastly situation, she was forced into it.
Memang punya kemampuan
Looks
besar
like my
sih si
father may
Shenhe.
need to make a few revisions to his beloved opera.
Oke. Wah ini ada lagi. A branch family of exorcists used to live in this.
So it seems that Shenhe's father
Yang
thought he was
tuh kan.
summoning a benevolent deity using a
Anjir,
magic
bapaknya bunuh
incantation.
diri anjir.
But in fact, he summoned an evil god's remains, which took the form of a monster.
Wah anjir.
His obsessive yearning for his deceased wife led to a terrible tragedy. The villagers moved away in fear without
Oh,
ever
bukan
learning the
ternyata bukan
truth.
manggil Adeptus
And
guys.
now,
Bapaknya
this
itu
place is
manggil
deserted. Still,
ya monster,
I do
yang manggil
wonder what the
monsternya mah
connection is
bapaknya.
between Shenhe and Mingjun.
Iya kan? Oh, terus yang ngurus si Mingjun ini.
We looked
Ya ada
everywhere, but
kotak.
still no mention of Subrozium. Let's have a look over there.
Di sini. Oh, anjir ceritanya ngenes juga keluarganya Shenhe.
This is it.
Magic engraved. To be a bridge between the living and the dead. However, finding Subrozium is no easy matter. You need to be at the right place at the right time. Legend has that you may find Subrozium. You stand in the middle of the lake, shot of Mount Tianheng at dusk, and look in the direction of the setting sun. Aduh, ini lagi. Oke.
So basically,
Kayaknya
we need to
ngepasin
go to the
tanda-tanda
middle
deh.
of the lake south of Mount Tianheng at dusk, and we'll find us some Subrozium. Let's go back and tell Shenhe the news.
Dan pas dusk itu pas matahari terbenam ya.
One year when I was back visiting, I heard a story about a white-haired adeptus from a merchant passing by. I never imagined it was you. I was a very close friend of your father's.
Ya, Mingjun itu
I could have stopped
tetangganya lah.
him from performing the summoning ritual.
Ya, itu kan.
I had plenty of chances, but I couldn't
Itu
bring
kan yang
myself to stand up to
undang
him.
monster ya bapaknya
I just let
sendiri.
things happen, let it all
Gara-gara tadi
escalate.
kenapa gitu istrinya gitu.
Well, we all
Terus
know
akhirnya
how
istrinya
that
mati,
story ended.
anaknya yang pertama
I
atau yang
bring
kedua, pokoknya
flowers back
saudaranya
here every
Shenhe
year.
hilang atau gimana, terus bapaknya
And
bunuh
each
diri.
time I
Anjir.
wish I had a chance to apologize to you.
Gila, mengerikan anjir.
Apologize for what? If you'd stopped him, he'd only have found another way. There is nothing he wouldn't have done for his true love. Nothing.
Do you still hate him?
I don't know what I feel. I'm told my fate is to bear the curse of calamity, so my master bound my soul with red ropes to curb my aggression. But it also dampened my emotions, making me dispassionate, like the Adepti. So if you ask me how I feel about the past, if I hate my father or not, the truth is, I feel nothing at all.
It must have been so tough for you all these years.
Shenhe, we're back.
Oh, then I will leave you all in peace. Shenhe, it brings me some solace knowing that you are okay. I'll tell you more about the old times next time we meet.
Thanks, mister. We found some info in the end. Shenhe, look. This tells us how to find Subrozium. All we gotta do is go to the middle of that lake.
Let's go then.
Miss Shenhe, there's something I'd like to talk to you about. Just now, in the village, we found your father's diary. It turns out that many of the details in the Divine Damsel of Devastation are not true to the facts. So I'd like to change them.
Why?
I know I say that opera always deviates from the truth, but now that the main character
Main
is standing
karakternya
right
di
here in
sini.
front of me, I cannot simply dismiss your lived experience in favor of my father's fiction.
Gak apa-apa
It's
lah.
okay. I like
Iya,
your
namanya
version.
juga opera.
But,
My master once said that the day I learn how to use my strength for the good of others, is the day that I can truly become part of human society. So, I hope that one day I might be brave enough to stand up and protect others, just like the girl in the opera. But I've never thought this way before, and I wonder whether I will continue to think in this way.
Don't worry. I believe you will. In fact, I think maybe you've already started to become the person you aspire to be. You just haven't had the opportunity to see it for yourself yet.
Shenhua! Yunjin! Cut the chit-chat! Let's go! We can't let someone else beat us to it!
Oke, ayo, Paimon, yuk. Go in the middle of the lake. Katanya das. Oh, ya syukurlah nggak perlu pakai jam-jaman. Let's go. Kayaknya ini, guys. Apa? Ngepasin gambar deh, coba. Ini danau ya. Tuh kan 17.30 anjir. Sekarang jam berapa? Wih, ada 4 jam lagi sih, guys. Kita ini aja buka ini aja apa? Oh. Please claim them in time. Oh, ini baju baru ini ya, guys. Baju baru yang karakter yang di sensor itu ya. Oke, klaimnya kapan nih? Oh. Oke. After January. Oke. Gini. Oh. Oke, thank you. Tapi tetap gambarnya kayak gini. Oh, udah keluar ya. Tapi gue lebih suka versi ininya sih, guys. Versi apa? Versi ya yang lebih seksi lah, pastilah. Notice, kenapa kita buka? Nanti aja. Kan masih in game. Adnan, pinter udah. Nanti aja, guys. Oke. Kita buka ini dulu aja. Kita buka. Di sini tuh keluarnya itu siang, guys. Jadi kita klaim dulu apanya. Kayak ngeklaim hadiah, kita ngeklaim world quest-nya dulu. Ada suster di sini yang minta bantuan ternyata. 17.30 cepet kok. Makanya itu waktunya kita gunakan untuk ini aja. Tapi itu dia, itu. Nah, ada world quest kan. Adanya juga cuma di siang ini. Kalau malam susternya hilang. Oke. Oh, hardworking of him. One batch of dandelion seeds and scatter them to the wind. Oke, kita udah punya. Butuhnya berapa? Oke, kita suruh nyebarin ini ya. Kita hilangin dulu. Ada lagi tapi di mana ya? Di Nazuma apa ya? Gua lupa. Ini dulu deh. Oke. Oh, udah gitu doang. Wow, cepat sekali. Dapat 5 pula, lumayan, guys. Nah, lumayan kan? 17.30 tadi. Kita cek dulu. Kalau udah biasanya sorry. Ada di sini. Oh ya, udah ya. Oke, reputation sudah. Terus kita cari mana lagi sih yang gua tandain, kok gua lupa. Ada, seingat gua di Inazuma sih. Kita cek. Ah ya, di sini. Oh, ini si kucing ya. Si kucing juga minta bantuan. Kita jangan telat loh, 17.30 katanya harus waktu yang tepat juga loh. Ntar kalau udah jam 16 atau jam berapa langsung aja guys. Kita cek dulu ini jam berapa. Udah 15. Kita ngobrol ini terus langsung balik ke situ ya. Ya, let's go. Yuk Neko, butuh apa? Waduh, suruh nyapu. Oke, yuk langsung kita balik aja. Daripada telat kan, kita pasin ke 17.29 boleh. Yuk. Wih, masih ada itu juga ternyata guys. Belum gua ambil tuh. Jam berapa nih? 1 jam lagi. Oke. Ini tuh patoknya. Iya anjir. Around 17:30. Kita ke 17.29 deh. Berapa sih? Ah, udah segini aja. Sini. Nah. Oke. Udah. Oke, pas ya. Oh, kirain harus kita ngepasin manual, enggak ternyata. Itu Xiao ya? Apa siapa itu tadi? Itu Xiao ya? Ya iya kan. Itu nanti aja lah. Pas selesai quest ini aja. Oke, let's go. Kenapa ada Xiao di sini?
I'm curious if Beto's made any progress.
What brings you here?
Ya, ente yang ngapain?
Have they found a solution to the danger in the sea? Ningguang didn't tell you. Something has happened in Guyan Stone Forest. According to the contract, as an Adeptus, I should not get involved for now. But these things can be unpredictable. I have a contingency plan of my own. Only a single mountain lies between here and Liyue Harbor. If things get out of control, I will defend this place myself.
Kenapa ada Xiao di sini tapi nggak merubah apa-apa? Oke, sudah kita dapat 2 bahannya. Tinggal kita balikin ke Master Zhang. Kita lihat gimana progresnya. Tapi tadi kenapa ada Xiao guys? Apa emang jam segitu ada? Aku juga nggak tahu.
Oh, goodness.
So, are they okay?
This is some top quality ore you found. I think I'll get a good end product out of these. Guess now it's my time to shine.
Hey everyone, how's the A-team doing? I ran into a bit of a brick wall on my end. Suling's never seen a Wonder Core before, and says it'd take a lot of research for him to get up to speed.
Leave the Wonder Cores to me. I'll work on them while you go about your business. Don't worry. It won't take me too long.
Much obliged, Master Zhang. We should look into the Adepti sigils next. But where should we find items relating to the Adepti?
I'll sort that out.
Oh? You got this then?
Yes.
Ya, dia kan...
I have been training with the
Iya.
Adepti for years. I know a thing or two about making sigils. When we first met, I told you I came for the Jade Chamber, not the contest. In fact, I came specifically to deliver Adepti sigils. Master heard that Ningguang was planning to rebuild the Jade Chamber, so she sent me to deliver some Adepti sigils to her. Master also said she hoped that I can take this opportunity to rejoin human society. But now that I'm here, I wonder if I've been removed from the world for too long. There's so much basic knowledge that I lack. Maybe it won't work for me to stay here after all. But either way, I'm very glad to have met you, and I'll take care of those Adepti sigils.
Without knowing the ins and outs of your situation, I can't say whether you should stay or not. But now that our paths have crossed, we'll always have a connection. So if you're ever feeling down, come find me on my ship. There'll be a drink waiting for you.
Thank you. So, Master Zhang, I'll need to use your facilities to make the sigils.
Fine by me. I'm actually curious to see how the Adepti arts work. Maybe I'll learn something.
Oke, biar digarap sama si Shenhe. Apa udah langsung beres nih?
Whew. The sigils are ready. Though they are in some respects inferior to my master's, I can assure you there will be no quality issues.
I've finished forging the things you asked for, too.
Great! Let's go submit them before someone else gets there ahead of us.
Kayaknya tidak ada manusia biasa yang bisa deh. Oke, kita dapat Wonder Core sama Adepti Sigil. Kita kemana nih? Bintang 5 semua. Tempat pembangunan lagi ya? Atau gimana nih? Ya Allah, lanjut lagi ke sini. Ya ampun. Ya udah guys. Biar cepat karena ini masih terlalu cepat ya. Jadi langsung aja kita lanjutin punyanya si siapa? Ganyu ya. Oke, let's go. Soalnya kayaknya ini udah mau beres nih si Ganyu nih. Biar Act 1 cepet beres guys. Biar berarti hari pertama Act 1 kita selesai, hari kedua. Oh padahal belum selesai, ini udah hari ketiga ya kita ya. Oke, tapi kita langsung lanjut deh. Tuh, langsung sama Ganyu lagi.
Baisha, are you okay? Did you fall asleep standing up? Look who's back.
Ganyu kembali.
You even have enough time for leisure? It seems you three are a suitable replacement for me after all.
Not at all. We've been working for too long. If we didn't take a break,
we wouldn't have survived long enough to see you again, Miss Ganyu.
Miss Ganyu, we've missed you.
That's so kind of you all, given we've only met once.
We've been praying day and night for you to return and take over your duties again.
To us, you're like an adeptus coming down to the human world to save all life.
Forget all our envious complaints from before. Just free us from this strenuous work, please.
All right, I see. Please divide the matters at hand into government affairs, business affairs, and civil affairs. Mark out the tasks that haven't been started, and those that are in progress. I'll take care of the rest.
Of course. We'll do it right away.
Oh, finally. We're saved.
Yes.
Kayaknya ini juga tinggal penutupan sih.
I'd like to earnestly thank you, Traveler. If it weren't for your companionship, I would still be embroiled in my inner conflict right now. To think that I'd gained a human friend outside of work. It makes me happier than I could have imagined. I'd like to repay you when I'm done with the work at hand. What would you say if I accompanied you on one of your trips?
Sure, but are you ever done with work, Ganyu?
Let's cross that bridge when we come to it, shall we?
Oke, jalan-jalan lagi. Sudah beres, langsung beres chapternya Ganyu ya. Sekarang kita kasih. Oh, ternyata karakter yang dimaksud itu sekretarisnya, guys. Oke, sekarang kita bisa lanjut lagi ya. Lanjut lagi. Give the wonder course. Kita kasih ke para sekretaris ini ya di sini. Oke, langsung kita lanjutin aja. Tuh kan tinggal penutupan doang sih Ganyu, makanya kalau besok kita lanjutin Ganyu lagi cuma ngomong gitu doang, jadi langsung aja lanjutin. Kalau bisa ini langsung kita ke Act 2. Mudah-mudahan nggak ada Act 2 juga sih, soalnya udah mau jadi, tapi kayaknya bakal ada Act 2 deh. Cuman coba kita jalan dulu ya. Udah jadi anjir, ini mah kita bisa ke sini. Udah bisa ekspor, tapi gue yakin masih kosong sih. Ya udah nanti aja. Ternyata karakter yang dimaksud tuh si ini, kirain si Ganyu, ternyata si Baiwen.
Ningguang's little secretary, we found all the materials!
Oh, already? All three of you found them together. Okay, I see. The Wonder Claws and Adepti Sigils look good. It seems that we found our winners.
Oke, kita berhasil menang ini.
I hereby announce that the winners of this material procurement contest are the Traveler, Yunjin, and Beidou.
What? It's over already? I haven't even found the
Mereka
plus
bahkan
right
belum nemu
yet.
apa-apa.
I can't believe it.
That's so far.
So close, but so far.
I'd like to invite our three winners to please proceed to the Jade Chamber, where Lady Ningguang is waiting for you.
Huh? Where's Beidou? She was right here!
Captain Beidou has some business to attend to. She will join later. Please come with me for now.
Alright then, guess we'll head on up to the Jade Chamber first. This has been a long time coming. The last time we went up to the Jade Chamber was ages ago.
Oke, kita ke atas.
Combine the Adepti Sigils with the Wonder Cores and insert them into the Jade Chamber's control compartment. The construction of the new Jade Chamber is now officially complete. Once the tethers are released, it will soar into the sky. Thank you all for your work.
Udah beres nih.
Now it is time for me to fulfill my promise.
Yeah!
Miss Yun, I've already heard something about the reason for your involvement. You are looking for a venue for your new opera, aren't you?
That's right. Lady Ningguang, I would like to hear your opinion.
The unveiling of Miss Yun's grand new opera surely requires a venue of equal grandeur. So what would you say if I proposed that we stage your first performance right here, in the newly built Jade Chamber? The Jade Chamber offers a splendid panoramic view of the mountains and the bustling city. It is fitting for the finest performance to be hosted in the heavens. I can think of no better stage for you than here, Miss
Langsung
Yun.
ditawarin.
Thank you, Lady Ningguang. Then I will prepare my props and other articles shortly. Please allow me to bring all these aboard the Jade Chamber.
You're quite welcome. It's truly what a good opera deserves.
A traveler, Shenhe, Paimon, I'll be leaving now. Do come and see my play when the time comes.
You're next. What is your question? I should clarify. I do not know your brother's whereabouts.
Don't waste your question.
Please, don't waste your question on this matter.
You're a mind reader, Ningguang. Oh well. Guess Paimon will ask a question then.
Managing a successful business is not as simple as you might think. Capital, connections, sensitivity to the trends, and instinct for what is a good opportunity. All of these traits are crucial. If you want to know how to make money, I will honor our agreement and give you an answer. But that is not to say that it will work for you.
Wow. Paimon hadn't even asked the question yet.
Your question was written all over your face. Now look, you helped me rebuild the Jade Chamber, and I intend to repay you handsomely for it. So I promise you that should you one day require financial assistance, you may seek employment here. I will pay you at the highest rate of remuneration.
Great! So next time we run out of lore, we just need to come to Ningguang? No more questions for us.
Pertanyaan yang sangat.
Me?
Yes, this is a group effort.
Thank you. But I don't have anything to ask.
Are you sure? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I'd urge you not to squander it.
Yeah, just don't waste it. Hold on a second. Paimon can probably think of another one.
Lady Ningguang, do you think I can ever fit in Liyue Harbor?
Now that is an interesting question. Liyue Harbor is very inclusive. As long as you respect the rules here, you will not be turned away. So, the key is whether or not you yourself can develop a sense of belonging in Liyue Harbor.
Huh. A sense of belonging?
Yes. To become fond of a place, to feel part of it. It always requires a reason. Perhaps someone you've met, or something you've experienced here. Or perhaps you enjoy the atmosphere of Liyue, and you will become accustomed to it. In short, everyone needs a reason to stay. I hope you can find yours soon.
I see.
Hey, what's going on? I just went to see the fleet a little later than expected.
Come on, Beidou. It's your turn. Do you have a question for Ningguang?
Me? Nah, I ain't got any questions. She forced me to help out, so I figured I may as well get involved with the contest. Ningguang, don't forget what we talked about. It's not going to be easy to deal with. I don't think my fleet can take it on their own.
Don't worry. I have made preparations. The wound dressings are ready, and the Millilith have set up an ambush.
Glad to hear it. Watch your back. Stay alert.
Beidou? Ningguang? What are you talking about?
You'll see when the Jade Chamber ascends. However, it's not the most pleasant topic of conversation. Maybe it's better that you don't know.
Oke, persiapan dinaikkan ya.
When I first set foot in the Jade Chamber, I stood at the edge of the platform and looked down upon Liyue Harbor far below. At that time, I dreamed that one day the Jade Chamber's shadow would be seen in all 7 nations of Teyvat. My wish has not changed to this very day. However, it is not only out of consideration for myself that I have built the Jade Chamber anew at this time. I hope the Jade Chamber will always float in the skies above Liyue Harbor, bearing witness to the prosperity and peace of the human world. And I hope that you can all witness it with me. Let the Ascension ceremony commence!
Cing, 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 cing. Kekuatan Ningguang. Kayak peluncuran roket anjir. Waduh, kenapa langsung ini bau-bau masa Osail hidup lagi, Cok? Wah, anjir beda, Cok. Apa ini? Masa langsung dihancurin lagi? Anjir. Oh, inikah yang dimaksud Beidou? Wah, anjir langsung diserang, Cok.
Right on cue. The Avenger of the
Vortex. Beda lagi.
Base.
Oh,
Osial's wife. Final follower of the Overlord of the Vortex.
Sounds like you knew this was coming.
Oh, iya kan yang diomongin sama Beidou.
She warned me months ago. Knowing she harbors hatred toward the Jade Chamber, I chose to rebuild it now as a way of drawing her out.
Istrinya Osail.
Well, let's go fetch the Adepti.
No. In this human age, the people of Liyue must find a way to overcome this crisis on our strength alone.
Ini udah apa? Masanya manusia ya. Waduh, serangannya Ningguang. Cacing. Cacing. Agan you. Kita nggak harus musuhan, nggak harus menghadapi kan? Atau gimana nih? Wah, anjir. Wah, anjir. Beidou tuh dari Liyue apa ini aslinya sih? Kayaknya dari Liyue. Lihat dari visionnya. Yang Inazuma apa sih? Nggak tahu sih. Oh saya loh guys, follower terakhirnya saya. Tsunami cu. Anjir, Liyue itu mesti membuat sesuatu yang epic gini aja. Anjir.
What's that? Wait! A giant wave!
Jadi es. Lupa. Udah gila. Waduh. Masih hidup.
You are a cursed child. Your life brings nothing but disaster to us all. At least if you die, I can bring her back.
The day you learn how to use your strength for the good of others is the day that you can truly become part of human society.
Anjir, ini dia. Anjir, merinding gua anjir. Wah, anjir langsung jadi es tuh. Wah, anjir. Epic sih. Ini gila sih ini. Lari dia. Kejar aja. Apakah kita akan menghadapi bos ini? Sepertinya sih iya ya, bau-bau tidak sedap ini. Wah anjir, epic sih tapi Liyue bener-bener art yang ya nggak tahu sih. Gua anjir tapi udah berkurang sih. Nggak gini juga dong bosku.
I hardly see this as a great risk. The people of Liyue Harbor are well prepared, and she is already badly injured. Only sheer willpower is keeping her alive. I may be nearing the end of my stamina, but in a fight to the death, I think I have the upper hand.
We'll help too.
Kok nggak mati? Avenger of the Vortex. Disuruh ngapain nih?
Let the show begin. Nice and spicy.
Unleash.
Mana sih? Udah jadi banyak. Ya Allah. Tenang. Ini yang mana yang diserang nih masalahnya sih? Bingung juga, bro.
Manifest.
Come into being.
Anjir. Bingung juga ini ngelawannya. Oke. Tolol. Aduh, kita nggak bawa ini ya. Anjir. Oh, ini dia. Boom.
Moments of birth.
Yang mana sih yang diserang ini masalahnya? Nggak kelihatan anjir. Kan nggak kelihatan sih, lebih ke ini siapa yang diserang, gilirannya siapa yang. Ayo sini bro. Waduh, coba. Boom.
Do your master's bidding. You will regret this. Obey.
Let the show begin.
Oke, santai aja. Berkurangnya sih banyak guys, cuman ya itu tadi apa namanya? Ini yang diserang yang mana dulu, gilirannya siapa?
Burst forth.
Unleash. Come a little closer. Let's spark things up. Manifest.
Lepasinnya, Cuk. Oke. Tuh kan, kalau berkurangnya sih banyak ya. Kita bisa ngelawan, cuman gilirannya dulu. Kapan giliran kita nyerang?
Let's dance.
Anjing.
In your dreams. Obey.
Live.
Boom.
Cryo incarnate.
Aduh. Oh, gitu serangannya. Oke. Sayang aja ini serangannya.
Let the show begin.
Come to be.
Unleash. Manifest.
Salah. Anjing.
Go, Barbara, go! Let's dance!
Ayo sini, maju, siapapun. Siap. Moment of birth. Mana ini tadi? Mana? Malah nggak muncul-muncul, udah ngeluarin ceplas-ceplas nih. What the hell? Boom!
Feel this ancient power.
Unleash!
Tenang.
Come to be.
Manifest.
I'll protect us.
Boom!
By ordinance divine.
Burst forth.
Mati satu kau. Anjir, ngamuk. Oke.
You're toast! Nice and spicy!
Mati kau. Nice. Ini kita nggak dapat apa-apa nih.
This place is unstable. It is too risky
Iya,
to
nggak
continue
ada
pursuing
petinya
her.
gitu.
If the place collapsed, the consequences would be disastrous.
Oke.
Let's head
Nggak
back.
dapat peti. Apa nanti? Biasanya habis domain dapat peti.
I'm just a little exhausted. Otherwise, fine. I wanted to deal with it myself. I didn't expect you to follow me. Don't worry. She's not coming back anytime soon.
Nggak mati tapi.
After an injury like that, she'll likely seek refuge somewhere else.
How did things go underwater?
It's been dealt with. She was injured before entering the water. It didn't take too much effort to finish the job.
Good. So the crisis has been safely averted. When you visit the Jade Chamber in the future, you will be afforded generous treatment.
Lady Ningguang, the fleet reports that the sea monster has left Guyun Stone Forest and the surrounding waters have returned to normal.
Yang rasain si B itu udah ada yang aneh nih
How are
sama
the Millilith?
airnya laut.
Thanks to the medical supplies you prepared and Lady Keqing's command, our losses were minimal. Of course, we owe huge thanks to this young lady
ada
for
sesuatu yang salah. Istrinya ngamuk.
On behalf of the entire Millilith, Thank you for
Tapi
your
kan sebelumnya udah mati ya.
Great. Then next time I watch Miss Yun's opera, I'll be able to take the compliments. I wasn't trying to be a hero, though. I just wanted to protect you.
Let the soldiers recuperate, but don't let your guard down. If she returns with a vengeance, we must be prepared.
Yes, ma'am.
You've been monitoring us for some time now. I trust you've reached a conclusion.
You wish to hear one's opinion. Well, things would have hardly gone so smoothly had it not been for Shenhe.
That I do not deny. However, final victory was always going to be ours, even had things been a little more arduous. If it came to it, I could always destroy another Jade Chamber.
One has observed your adaptation of the Guizhong Ballista, and find oneself compelled to admit that you have evidenced some degree of novel thinking. You have learned from past failures and prepared for this crisis in advance. This is considerable progress compared to the last time. Hence, on balance, one finds your performance during this trial satisfactory enough. But there will no doubt be further trials to come in the future. Do not suppose that one will not continue observing you hereafter.
While the position of Tianquan remains mine, I will always ensure Liyue's safety.
Shenhe, one saw you secretly venture out from the mountains a few years ago, and noticed the air of dejection in which you returned. Hopefully this trip to Liyue Harbor has been a different experience.
Yes. I can't explain it, but I feel happier than I expected.
Good. Traveler, please take good care of Shenhe. She is a dear child. In fact, one has many fond memories of Shenhe's childhood that she may be interested to hear about.
There will be no need for that.
Oh. They are all like this. Fine. Since you care not to listen, one shan't be telling you. One shall be going homeward now.
Please,
Tetap ibu-ibu
have a
ya.
good rest. Come to the Jade Chamber when you have recovered your energy. We must celebrate both the completion of the Jade Chamber and the fact that Liyue has weathered another crisis. This banquet must be the most spectacular ever.
Beres. Oh, tapi kita suruh ke Jade Chamber. Wah, anjir, ini daerah mana ini? Ada catching. Oh, dan si Xiao itu ngomongin ini ya.
Casualties are within the range we expect. In hindsight, there were still flaws with our plan. If we'd had more time, we could have built a barrier here to absorb the impact of the waves. We must learn from this experience and never repeat the same mistakes again. We were fortunate to have your assistance this time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh iya, Xiao kan bilang ada bahaya kan di laut. Ternyata maksudnya ini, oke. Sekarang kita balik ke Jade Chamber. Jade Chamber ternyata posisinya di sini. Oke, waduh, makan nih.
Wow, everyone's already seated. It's Paimon's first time attending a banquet in the Jade Chamber. The food here looks amazing.
All of you here are my distinguished guests. I am determined that each of you thoroughly enjoys yourself. Those who don't drink alcohol, please, help yourself to other beverages. Fine wine is a delight to the senses, but it is far from the only one. I trust you will find the marvelous view from the Jade Chamber to be an equally gratifying indulgence.
Have you heard? Miss Yun's going to be performing today.
Sure have. Honestly, it's the main reason I'm here. I've never missed any of Miss Yun's performances, and I don't intend to start now. I hear she's going to perform the Divine Damsel of Devastation today.
Kayaknya diganti deh ntar sama si
I've been so excited that I've barely slept the last few
lihat aja
nights.
nih.
Hey, look! Miss Yun is going on stage!
Acaranya kayak mana nih? Sin dong, sin. Apa gini doang sinnya? Ah ya, sin lagi nih kayaknya. Iya kan? Kayak bahasa ini ya, China ya.
批冠到这里本该接近尾声，但今日我再添一笔，唱与诸位听。
belum selesai.
时鹤归，茫茫天地无依靠，孤身离去。今日再会，新朋旧友坐满堂，共聚此时。
Gua merinding guys. Wih.
What did you think? Personally, I thought I sang rather well.
It was
Anjir merinding Jo.
Paimon wants to learn too.
It was wonderful. Also, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks to you, the Divine Damsel of Devastation is a more nuanced tale than ever. The play has an ending, but life goes on. I believe you will find a way to fit in Liyue Harbor.
Thank you. I think I've found the opportunity I needed to change.
Ms. Young.
Anjir mabuk, Jo.
Here you are.
Sitau.
Great to see you. Huh? Hey, this young lady with the white hair looks like some kind of VIP. Yeah, that's it, like an adeptus. Wait, you're the girl from the opera, aren't you? The Divine Damsel herself. And look who else we have here, the illustrious traveler. Well, I'll be. This was definitely worth showing up for. Let me pull up a chair, all right? We'll all have a friendly chat, get better acquainted.
Alternatively, you could leave us alone. That is, if you'd prefer to finish your drink via the orifice of your own choice.
Uh-oh, this feels all too familiar. Shenhe's back to her old self again.
Hey, what are you doing?
Calm down, Shenhe. Calm down.
Tenang, santuy. Okay. Okay, go to Eugene Terrace. Apa ini? Kok questnya banyak banget? Oke, kita lihat dulu ya guys ya. Oh, sudah beres Archon quest ya. Malah yang keluar story quest banyak. Ini guys yang apa? Untuk apa namanya? Untuk event ya. Kita cek berarti ya. Besok kita bisa lanjut ini berarti ke event. Kurang apa? Oh, udah kebuka. Nice. Great Gathering, Wondrous Shadows, Flame Bloom, Star Flowers. Oh, udah bisa dimainin kayaknya. Oke, kita cek dulu ya. Pertama tadi The Great Gathering ya. Ini apa? Oh, go to quest. Oh, ini ya. Oke. Oke, jadi sudah bisa kita mainkan ya. Kita lihat event yang lain. Oh, eventnya ini ya. Eventnya apa namanya, guys? Apa ini? Oh, claim gift. Oke. Oh, harus ini ya. Buat dapat bajunya Ningguang. Meskipun kita belum punya Ningguang, nggak apa-apa, kita ambil terus. Oh, ini untuk dapetin karakter ya. Oke. Gua udah dapet ini dan ini. Ntar bisa kita cari. Ini udah C6 jadi nggak usah ambil ini. Kita bisa cari yang lain. View karakter. Oh, udah. Nggak usah terus. Oke, ini prosperous partnership harus dari ini ya, invitation cost. Oke. Event detail. Oke, ini wondrous shadow. Oke. Tapi jadi ini lagi ya, ada part 2, part 3. Oke. Gua belum tahu kayak gimana, cuman mungkin sampai segini dulu aja. Besok kita akan ngejalanin event ya. Karena eventnya quest juga, guys. Masuk ke quest ini, ya kan? Masuk ke quest ini, jadinya gua bingung nih. Jadi gua nggak tahu sih bakal lama apa enggak. Tapi takutnya daripada kelamaan ya. Tapi apakah kita coba satu? Mungkin maybe satu. Oke, boleh, nggak apa-apa ya, agak lama aja sekalian biar langsung aja ya. Oke, sekalian aja deh guys, satu deh, terus baru besok kita buka yang lain. Oke, kita cari yang paling dekat dulu aja di sini. Orangnya di mana? Maksud gua bakal jadi lama nggak itu loh. Oke, kita cek dulu.
A great many things are still unaccounted for. The new Jade Chamber is missing many of the contents held by its predecessor.
Siapa tahu ternyata terus jadi event biasa, maksudnya apa? Nggak usah gua record gitu loh, bukan cerita gitu loh. Kita coba dulu aja,
Most of it was destroyed in the process, and the small handful of items that survived
soalnya ini kan
intact
khusus ya,
are
jadi
strewn across the water surface.
masuknya bukan ke world quest. Biasanya kan kalau event-event biasa kita ngelakuin world quest terus ntar event biasa gitu loh ya kan. Nah, mungkin karena ini ada hubungannya dan banyak hadiahnya, makanya yang muncul langsung karakter-karakter yang bisa kita mainkan paling gitu. Jadi kita coba dulu aja. Tapi satu ini dulu aja. Besok akan lanjutin lagi. Oke.
We reached a mutually beneficial agreement, as is always the case in our dealings. Payment is one aspect of it, but I also compensate her in other ways. Let's just say it's a little complicated. Anyway, Beidou is currently in the Guyan Stone Forest area. If you're interested, go pay her a visit. You may be just the help she
kita
needs.
disuruh ke tempatnya Beidou ya. Go to the Alcor. Udah beres ya, panggungnya udah hilang. Oke, kita ke kapalnya Beidou. Ting dong dong. Aduh. La 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 la. Nah, itu dia. Oh, ada si Xinyan juga. La 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 la.
Ningguang, you're really trying my patience. I'm sorry, but if the Jade Chamber smashed into smithereens when it hit the sea, then so did everything inside it. Just because I know the ocean doesn't mean I have the power to fish up the past. Oh, Traveler, what are you doing out this way? Great, you couldn't have picked a better time. The whole fleet's caught up with other things right now, so I'll take all the help I can get.
Oh, Liyue
I even had to
si
rope
Beidou.
Xinyan into this.
Yeah, what's question. Did you come all the way out here to do a performance?
You bet I did. Nothing official, mind you. Beta wanted to hold a feast on board, and I agreed to come play a couple of tunes.
Okay. A rock musician based in Liyue used her music as a form of resistance against societal stereotypes. Her tunes are well loved, and the style of her tunes is much like she is straightforward, generous, confident, and proud. Every time she steps onto her personally designed stage, loyal fans will come flocking and start to rock to her rhythm. If you heard tears and fireworks go up at any place in New Harbor at the same time, it's most likely Xinyan, so don't miss out. Okay.
But all that went out the window when someone showed up saying they were one of Ningguang's secretaries. They called Beta away.
I think it was Bai Wen or Bai Xiao. Well, it was Bai something. Anyway, Ningguang apparently came up with the bright idea of me going out on the sea and salvaging a bunch of her old valuables. She seems pretty willing to shell out for it too. Well, at the end of the day, the price was right. So, yeah, we took the work. Now, if we're gonna go trawling for trinkets, we're gonna need a smaller vessel. All the available boats have been dispatched already, but by the looks of it, we're still one short. Say you have your own vessel, do ya? Great, let's take yours then. The more people we have on this job, the better. Because the sooner we get this wrapped up, the sooner we can get that feast going and actually enjoy the festival.
Oke. Waduh, suruh pakai wave raider. Wave raidernya dari mana, Cuk? Oh, kesini dulu. Oke.
So, this is it? This is your boat? It's really, compact. But it works. It's about the right size for sweeping up junk from the water surface.
The only thing is, we're packed in like sardines here.
Apa sih ini suruh balapan atau apa ini?
Xinyan, you're...
Hold up, are those treasure hoarders?
Kecebur anjir. Oh, kayaknya cuma event-event gini sih, guys. Nanti pakai kapal.
Come on, traveler. Steer us a little closer.
Okay, pick up.
Huh? Why are they headed back to shore?
To reconvene with their posse, I'll bet. Speed it up a notch, traveler. This is a chase now.
Serang. Oke. Oh, kita harus ngambil ya kalau udah diambil musuh, intinya gitu. Oke. Yuk, keluar. Let's go.
Let's dance.
Wait, they're gaining on us. We can't give them the slip. Call it Carmen.
Angkot, Cuk.
Carmen? What kind of treasure hoarder has a name like that?
One that I happen to know pretty well. Didn't think we'd be running into him.
Oh, ya. Gitu cara pakai apa? Firecrackernya.
Let the show be. Huh? Out of the frying pan.
Ada lagi, Cuk.
Moments of birth.
Come into being!
Surrendering will be gentle.
Burst forth! Come into being! Live!
Come a little closer.
Let's dance. Eat this!
Burst forth!
Really make it big.
Boom!
Come into being! Witness my
Keras
great
banget yang
undertaking!
ini defense-nya. Gila.
Live! Burst forth!
Nyawanya banyak banget ini.
Live! A miscalculation! Burst forth! Come into being!
Oke, beres.
Stop! All of you! Are you blind? Can't you see this is Captain Beto? Captain Beto, it's been a while. Still fighting fit, I see.
I guess it has been a while, Carmen. You're looking a little worse for wear. Maybe if you did your own dirty work rather than dispatching your minions, you wouldn't be so out of breath right now.
How you jest, Beto. Very amusing.
To get serious for a second, though, I'm gonna be needing all of this. So put everything down, and I won't cause you any more trouble.
Of course. Of course. Whatever Captain Beto wants. You heard her, people. Drop the goods. Here you are. It's all here. So,
okay.
We'll take our leave now?
Lari.
Wow. He did what we asked without a second thought.
Couldn't run off quickly enough either.
Don't waste any more time on them. We've still got salvaging to do. But we should load this stash onto the boat first. Come on, Traveler, help me out here.
Oke, ada 3. Beres. Oh, kita operasinya gini terus ya, oke. Continue, kita ambil lagi itu.
Hey, there's some things floating on the water.
Can't quite make out what they are.
Okay,
let's bring them in and take a look. I'll take the rudder. Traveler, Xinyan, go reel them in.
Hey, looks like another treasure hoarder raft straight up ahead. But
mana, guys?
why is it empty?
I guess Carmen told all his people to call it off. Smart choice.
Okay.
He knows who he's up against. Let's keep going.
Oke, kayaknya harus berjalan kaki ya. Kita bawa, nggak apa-apa sih, bawa ini nggak apa-apa sih. Kayaknya lebih sakit sih sebenarnya guys, cuman udah nggak apa-apa. Kuat kok. Oke.
Come on, we gotta wrap this up soon. Leave the junk, take anything and everything of value, and I need a few of you to load the boat up. Move it!
Whatever you're about to do, don't. And whatever goods you're holding,
they're
mine now.
Beto? What are you doing here?
I might ask you the same question.
I mean, what does it look like? We got lucky. Found some treasure
itu ya,
around the ocean. If you see anything you like, it's yours
chamber yang
for the
lama
taking.
ya.
A token of our esteem for the mighty Captain Beto.
Is that right? Well, good. I'll take it all.
But come on. Be reasonable here. Me and the guys have been busting a gut gathering all this up. You gotta leave us a little something, surely.
Let me make this crystal clear. These things do not belong to you, and they never will. So you're gonna put them down, and then you're gonna get as far away from me as is physically possible.
that's a little, hey, why don't we start over here, huh? You see, we...
Huh. Sounds a lot like you're stalling to me. Talk is cheap. Let's settle this the old-fashioned way.
Let the show begin. Luba, get them!
Burst forth. Feel this ancient power.
Buat mamah ini kuat juga. Boom.
Nice and spicy.
Coming to be.
Ngapain sih ini cuma okay.
Back off! Back off!
Try not to enjoy.
I'll protect us.
Back off!
Witness my great undertaking.
Gak kena cok.
The boat's loaded in the water, boss. Come take a look.
Captain Beidou pulls no punches. Retreat! Retreat!
If the boss is bailing, we'd better bail too.
Looks like they're out of here.
We're sorry we offended you, Captain Beidou. Give us some time. We'll find a way to make it right. I promise.
Oh, udah beres.
Boy, they sure ran off quickly.
Who cares? They didn't take anything with them. The bigger problem here is there's no way all of this is going to fit onto your boat. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. Unload the boat and put everything here in one place. Based on the original plan, Sea Drake's boat should be coming past here at some point. When they get here, we'll hitch a ride with them. In the meantime, traveler, head back to the Jade Chamber and deliver a message to Ningguang for me. Just tell her we're almost done fishing for trinkets here, so she should start getting my compensation ready. Alright, thanks, traveler. If both Carmen and Liyue were here, then I wonder if that other boss of theirs, Big Sis, is snooping around. I've got to tell Sea Drake and the rest of the crew to stay on high alert.
Oke, kita laporkan balik ke Ningguang. Dan kita ambil-ambilin barang-barang yang jatuh ya, yang buat dulu kan Jade Chamber buat ngalahin Osail kan ya, itu barang-barangnya masih ketinggalan terus jatuh di laut semua. Ini pada diambilin buat dibalikin itu. Ya, ada yang hancur, ada yang tidak. Nyangkut. Ini Ningguangnya.
Welcome back. I trust Beidou is making good progress on salvaging the items. Treasure hoarders. I see. Yes, I can imagine that must have been rather irksome. It sounds like you scared them off on this occasion.
Kenapa itu?
But it won't end there. They are not the type to forgive and forget. You needn't concern yourself with them any further, though. Leave them to Beidou. She is well versed in handling treasure hoarders. I will be sure to make preparations for her compensation. I also owe you my thanks for coming all this way to deliver Beidou's message. Here, please take this as a token of my appreciation. Now, please excuse me. I have other business that demands my attention. I wish you a fun-filled festival.
Sudah beres. Oh, sekarang baru muncul challenge-nya. Oke. Mungkin bisa kita coba, guys. Wah, apa ini? Kenapa ini Mas Bes kok? Oke. Oh, challenge-nya di sini. Nah, ini baru. Sorry. Ini baru ininya guys, baru apa? Baru eventnya. Tapi berarti itunya sudah beres ya, apa itunya? Apa obrolannya, bukan obrolan sih, apa sih namanya guys? Oh sekarang dikasih wave raider kayaknya, tapi cuma buat event ini doang sih sepertinya. Tapi kalau permanen bagus sih. Kita jadi kalau mau ngekspor tempat ini nggak usah capek-capek renang. Kita coba sekali terus udah deh guys. Udah terlalu lama juga ini kita. Ini kemana? Di situ ya. Ya udah coba kita kesini deh. Bukanya nanti aja, langsung aja. Mau lihat challenge-nya doang. Besok yang satunya akan kita kerjain besok ya. Sekarang ini dulu. Udah terlalu lama juga. Wah, ini ada. Aduh. Nanti deh, Mas. Ini dulu deh. Oh, kayaknya sama sih. Aduh, kenapa ini nggak ikut, Cuk?
Burst forth. You're open.
Waduh, kenapa ikut semua ke sini anjing? Anjing. Anjir 3, Cuk. Tolong. Anjir.
Moments of birth.
Anjir. Anjing, dia nggak gitu anjing. Wah anjir, nggak masuk akal dia. Putar. Aduh.
Let's spark things up a little.
Wah, anjing mati dong. Gila serangannya. Ya nggak gitu juga bosku. Aduh, mati semua anjing. Wah.
Time to reassess.
You're in for a little.
Waduh, ini loh, muter-muternya loh.
Coming to beat.
Aduh, gila apa? 4 loh, gila. Wah, nggak masuk akal ini, hidup semua anjing. Aduh, yang muter-muter nih loh, anjing. Wah, gila apa? Anjing. Semuanya nembak gitu ya. Ah, nggak masuk akal. Kita salah lewat jalan, guys. Mati satu.
Let's dance. Go, Barbara, go.
Wah, anjing. Wah, anjing. Wah.
Ready, steady, go.
Burst forth. Feel the same shit.
Mati 2. Bajingan.
Coming to be.
Mati 3, anjing. Mati kalian semua. Bajingan. Gak masalah guys. Mati kau anjing. Mati ya anjing.
Witness a great undertaking. Burst forth.
Ya nggak kena. Aduh, salah pencet banget. Mati kalian semua. Nice. Udah kayak gitu challenge-nya. Wah, anjing, nggak masuk akal lawan 4 loh. Itu juga ada. Ntar gua itu deh. Langsung keluar nih. Luxurious dice. Nice.
This world holds many a rare treasure.
Anjing, nggak masuk akal tuh. Kita cek. Cuma segitu doang apa kayak gimana? Oh, ada 3 ya. Oke, besok akan kita lanjutin lagi. So, thank you guys buat yang udah nonton, like, dan subscribe. Kayaknya ini juga udah kelamaan juga ya. Ya, berhenti di tengah jalan lagi, tapi nggak masalah. Besok akan lanjutin lagi. Kita akan lanjutin eventnya. Banyak kan ini. Nah, sekarang tinggal 2. Karena udah kita jalanin 1, tinggal 2. Besok akan kita selesaiin sekalian ya. Sampai nunggu event apa, kan ini masih ada yang belum kebuka ya. Masih nunggu beberapa hari buat kebuka. Jadi intinya besok akan kita beresin event yang ada untuk hari besok. Meskipun ini bakal ke up-nya nggak pas hari ini gua nge-record juga. Ini gua nge-record udah malam. Mungkin ya nunggu jadwal lah. Paling awal-awal Februari, agak lama ini uploadnya. So, thank you guys buat yang nonton, like, dan subscribe. Sekali lagi, sorry terlalu lama, cuman nggak apa-apa, biar sekalian ya. Jadi tadi seru banget. Jadi kita mengetahui masa lalunya Shenhe, terus ngelawan istrinya Osael, terus udah berhasil kembali membangun jet chamber, dan sekarang kita udah bisa memainkan eventnya. Oke, jadi biar kita nggak terlalu lama-lama banget, masih ada 15 hari, santai lah. Oke, so thank you guys sekali lagi, sampai bertemu besok and have a good day, bye bye.